Hello everyone and welcome to episode 152 of the Xbox Hall of Games podcast. This week I'm joined by Shane.
Hello.
And Matt and me as usual. Yeah, we're two-manning it this week because Jake is still very, very busy. He's lamenting the fact that he told us that he was going to be free. He was going to get less busy after Christmas, and so far that has not occurred. The poor guy.
Liar.
Yeah. So we might get him next week. We'll see how it's going. But we're going to do some Game of the Year chat again. We'll kind of go through the list from last week, and I wanted to get Shane's opinion on what he's been playing and kind of where he thinks it fits on his personal list, and if we want to maybe move some things around just a little bit, we'll see. And because Keo and Cameron aren't here, I will try and argue on their behalf, but we'll see how that goes. As always, we do this show live on Twitch. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. Xbox Hall of Games is the place to find us, as always. And let's just crack on with the show. So we have a couple of community questions this week. Let me quickly just pull them up. There was one about asking, do we know how to use chopsticks, from Isaac?
Nope.
Not at all?
I'm American. We don't learn other cultural things. You kidding me? No.
I mean, that's fair. That's
a fork.
actually, yeah, that's fair. I mean,
democracy.
I prefer a fork, for sure. But I can use chopsticks. I'm not particularly good with them anymore, but I did grow up with surrounded by a large Korean demographic.
Oh.
So yeah, especially where I am in New Zealand, there's a large Korean population. So I spent a lot of my friends are Korean, and so spent a lot of time trading lunches and that kind of stuff. And so I had to learn how to use chopsticks. Yeah.
All right. Well, I lived in Florida, so that's mostly Hispanic population, and I live in Iowa, which is mostly the whitest people that have ever existed. Mm-hmm. So, not a lot of chopstick exposure.
Fair.
But my daughter did just learn while we were in Key West. We went to a ramen shop and she figured it out. So
right.
She's got one up on me, but I'm American and I use a fork. Thank you.
That's fair.
No more questions.
Key West is amazing, by the way. I had a great time there.
Oh God, it's so cool, right?
It was so good. It was so fucking expensive, but it was so good.
Yes.
Isaac also asks, hey guys, I know you've talked about not really doing Microsoft rewards, but have you looked into it recently? They've added some new quests that allow you to turn more points into playing Game Pass. Do you think it's enough to get you into using it? Thanks for taking the question. I don't know. I've kind of noticed this thing where I think it's like you play 15 minutes of like 8 Game Pass games and they kind of give you some extra rewards. I don't really pay a lot of attention to it myself. I basically just kind of just like, I play a lot of Game Pass stuff anyway, so I probably qualify for a lot of it. But
yeah, using Game Pass seems to be the way to go. I've never been a super like into rewards in any way, shape, or form. What are your reward points I actually have? That's a good question.
Yeah, I do, because they do send you those messages that are like, hey, you're so-and-so amount away from getting like a $25 gift card or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, if I buy a game or if I play a lot of Game Pass, I always turn in my like weekly quests and stuff just because I tend to accumulate them playing through stuff. But I don't like go on like the Bing stuff or anything like that, do the searches anymore. It's not really worth the time for the most part.
Honestly, I forget about it most of the time. But when I do my thumbnails for achievements, I used to be able to just save it from the Xbox site, but I don't know if you've been on Xbox.com for a while.
It sucks.
They don't it's not, yeah, it's different. So what I have to do to get the thumbnail or the achievement art for achievements is load up the Xbox app on PC, set it as my desktop, like the achievement art, then go into the cache folder in C drive and then pull it.
Oof.
So when I open up the Xbox app, though, it has a little claim rewards thing, and
Sure.
that's kind of the only time I remember I have it. And apparently, sure enough, I have it right now. So I just claim real quick. I got up to 2,000-ish.
That's not bad. Yeah, it's a good start, you know.
That goes art.
Yeah, like I get some rewards every now and then, and I usually either put them towards like a $25 gift card and kind of buy myself something that I want to play or something that comes up on sale. But
as a gift, treat yourself.
Exactly. I mean, $25 is $25, you know.
That's fair.
Let's get through some news and then we'll get into our sort of Game of the Year chat stuff. So the first bit of news here is that there's the Xbox Developer Direct coming on the 23rd, I believe it is. January 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So about 5 days away. Are we interested? Are we excited? Apparently there's going to be news about Compulsion Game stuff. id stuff's going to be there, so the new Doom. And Sandfall Interactive's... Which one was that? That was... Oh, that was their Clear Obscura
Uh,
Expedition
uh,
33 thing, right?
yeah, that one. Yeah.
And then yeah, South of Midnight, which is great because again, I'm excited for all of those games. They all look fantastic. I believe they're all coming out this year. But apparently, there's some kind of mystery game going on there. They put the question mark thing
Yeah.
again, like they did last time with the Visions of Mana thing. Which everyone's like, it's coming to Game Pass, it's coming to Game Pass, and it was not coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, and it did not come to Game Pass. I bought that thing full price. We'll get into that when we talk to Game of the Year. But yeah, I've heard, most of the rumors I've heard is it's the Oblivion remake.
I have definitely
That
heard,
or a Japanese title.
yeah. Well, apparently there's something about like some iconic. The next entry in an iconic Japanese IP will reportedly be announced at the Xbox Developer Direct, is what they're saying.
Saga Frontier 3.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Everyone loves that series.
Sure,
Breath
sure.
of Fire 8. What are they on right now?
I don't even know. Are they remaking those yet? I can't remember.
Ease 13.
Oh my god, God, I haven't thought about Ease in a long time.
No one has.
Yeah,
No one
They only
has.
have had like one Xbox release, I think, right? One or two.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
There was
I don't
talk.
know. Do you have any idea what, like, any hopes it could be?
I mean,
or
it could be our like long belabored Final Fantasy that we're waiting on. Maybe it's the final. We're getting Final Fantasy 16 coming, or Final Fantasy 7 remake, or something along those lines. Again, I don't know. Like next from like a legendary Japanese new entry in a Japanese IP makes me think maybe not. Like maybe it's something we haven't really thought about. I don't know.
Final Fantasy, Mystic Quest 2,
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it could be something weird like that.
Crystal Chronicles 3. I think. Right?
Crystal Chronicle. Oh yeah. Was that the GameCube one?
Yes, that was.
That
The
was when we
GameCube.
had
And
to
then I
have.
think they
If you,
came out a DS version.
oh,
Like the
that's
second
right.
game.
Yeah, they did a like a remake of it because I remember the
Yeah.
original. You had to like my incredibly you know you had that friend who was like a super wealthy dude. You didn't really realize it until you got
Everyone
there.
had that friend.
And,
Yep.
and you're like, oh shit, that guy, their family obviously had money because he got a GameCube, and he had if you wanted to play Crystal Chronicles with more than one person, you had to have the GBA link cable to the.
She sure
It was
did.
so ridiculous. Because like no, you couldn't just use a controller. You had to bring your own GBA, and so he had like 4 GBAs with cables hooked up to it. I didn't think anything of it, but like thinking back, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money.
Those were expensive back then. I think those cables alone were like $30.
Yeah, exactly. For a game that also just wasn't that great. It was fine.
Yeah.
But
No, you want to play Crystal Chronicles or what is it? Four Swords Adventures? You're gonna pay and pop a Nintendo.
Four Sword Adventures is another one. Jesus Christ, that's weird to think about. Yeah.
And that was it. Oh no, Pac-Man Versus.
Really,
like
that's
the
all they
three
used
big
it.
ones.
I know it was a limited amount, like Virtual Boy numbers.
I'm sure there were like some other game had like some side mode that used it, but I mean,
I think it was what was it? I think Wind Waker had some sort of connectivity with the Tingle thingamajig. I remember that because I
Sure
had one of
did.
those, and I was like, "This
single
is
sensor. Yep.
yeah," and it was like a whole thing where it like revealed like secret chests and stuff and different outfits and other bits and pieces. That was weird time.
Peripherals. Now it's all digital, so they don't do peripherals much anymore.
Yeah, true. I remember when that was a whole like project like second screen where like every game had like a companion app. Like EA was doing that with.
Oh yeah, for a hot minute there, yeah, when iPads became a thing.
Yeah, they were like, oh no, you need to play like I think it was like Dead Space Ignition or no, Dead Space had like a thing where you could do it, and then it was what was the other
Yeah,
one? It
something like
was oh, I'm suddenly blanking on it. It was
No, Assassin's Creeds did them.
yes,
a few of
yes,
those.
Yep, and
Like 4 maybe.
yeah, I think it might have been four. Yeah, it had some sort of they had the pirates thing as well. They just and they were like, oh, you definitely have to have a second screen with like Mass Effect 3 had it where they were like, oh, you could do like extra war council missions or whatever on it for whatever reason to keep your galactic readiness up.
Of course, and fun stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, just
real fun
like
stuff.
busy work. I mean, to be fair, that app was pretty good because it had the entire codex from the game as well. So if you want to read through like lore stuff, it was actually pretty good. But man, that was a weird time. It was like that and Project $10 were happening at the same time where they wanted you to pay $10 for premium versions of all your games. But kind of
God forbid they would never nickel dime us nowadays.
right,
Never,
exactly,
never.
yeah.
Absolutely not.
I guess in terms of like a Japanese game that's coming, like if you think about like maybe a studio, if it's a brand new IP or a sorry, not a brand new IP, but a legendary Japanese IP, is it? I mean, what are your options? You got like an Atlas maybe, or like a Sega.
Yeah.
Imagine they showed a new Sonic
Yeah, I
game.
was mostly joking about like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest 2, but I feel like if Square Enix was going to announce a game and Xbox show, it's gonna be something like that. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh, Final Fantasy, but it's something else. I mean, if they, I don't know. You said a new one, so it can't be like
Well, that's what I like. That's the
Seven
rumor.
Rebirth or
Again, we
anything like
don't really
that.
know that much. We only know that they're
Yeah, we
announcing
don't know anything.
something. But yeah, the
Yep,
legendary Japanese
they were
IP,
kind enough to at least let us know they're announcing something.
which is
But
yeah, get someone give you the reason to watch for sure. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, it
it
could
works.
be people saying like maybe it's like a Hoyoverse, like Genshin Impact style, like Zenless Zone Zero,
Oh,
and or
guess so.
I don't know.
I just feel like that's a lot of effort to put into a essentially a Western console
Yeah,
for like Hoyoverse or something like that.
yeah.
That's
Well,
why, again, I'm not joking. Where it's like Saga Frontier or Breath of Fire, it's something that people would be like, "Oh, cool," but isn't something they're wasting on Xbox. You know what
sure.
I
So
mean?
it wouldn't like I don't think it's
Um,
going to be like the next Dragon Quest, for example, or something like
no,
that, where it's like
absolutely
I
not.
don't think it's going to be like a mainline title for a major series, but
Well, Dragon Quest 3 just got remade. Are they remaking the first two? I
they
think
are
they were,
remaking the
weren't
first
they?
two as well. Yes, yes, they
Yeah,
are. Yeah,
I guess I could show it
they
there.
could do.
I doubt
Yep,
it, but
I could see it. It could
it's not gonna be
be.
announced.
I don't know. They could be redoing more Mana games. Apparently, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just seems
It could be. That is true.
like a developer showcase seems like a kind of weird place, like you said, for like a top tier Jap. Like again, Microsoft want to show they have
Xbox
Japanese.
Developer Showcase. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like obviously they want to show they have Japanese support now and that kind of stuff.
Mm.
But I don't, yeah, I mean,
Anarchy Reigns 2.
yeah, that could be it. Yeah, sure, a legendary IP. Uh, yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to check it out. We'll report on it next week, of course.
Yeah.
People are saying maybe
Absolutely.
like a Resident Evil or something, like a Resident Evil spin-off. I mean, because Capcom obviously, or maybe like a Monster Hunter style thing or something along those lines. I don't know.
Hmm. I guess it could be.
We,
Capcom's been on a roll lately, to be fair.
yeah,
So,
they've been killing it. Like I wonder in terms of like Capcom. I mean, obviously they got Monster Hunter launching next week, or sorry, no, next month rather. So that's probably not going to be it. It could be another Resident Evil game. It could be like Code Veronica. It could be like the reveal for it. Actually, that wouldn't surprise me because there's been a lot of rumors about that.
again, I feel like a lot of these are possible, but
Mm.
just how likely are they at a Xbox show? Visions of Mana, like I popped off,
Sure, I was
but
excited too.
is that really like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like Xbox just isn't popular with Japanese audiences.
but if
So,
Microsoft stump
I'm
up
prob-
enough money to try and make sure they have their Japanese representation on this show, maybe it's just like, hey,
that's to say, Papa Phil has been apparently pushing that pretty hard.
so
So,
maybe it's
here's
like a
hoping.
teaser trailer for something that they actually show like a proper trailer for at another show.
Yeah.
Like Capcom's classic for doing that, right? They'll show like a teaser trailer and then they have their own event like a couple months later to actually show it off properly. I think
Could
they
be.
did that with like Dragon's Dogma 2 and a couple other bits and pieces. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm curious. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's the next Persona game. Maybe it's Persona 4 remake. It wouldn't surprise me.
God, can you imagine if Persona 6 was announced at an
That would
Xbox
be
developer direct?
incredible.
The internet would
I would
explode.
love that.
Like all the Sony fanboys would be angry, the Xbox fanboys would be confused, but also pretty excited. Like the media would be like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
So that'd be amazing.
All right. This is going to be a quick one, but Lords of the Fallen publisher won't include quote unquote social or political agencies in future games. So, CI Games has basically adjusted
Cool.
their stance on DEI in games and confirming it won't be integrating any social or political agencies in future games. What does that mean?
What kills me is a lot of companies have been doing this lately without telling us what were you guys doing in the first place that you're changing.
Right.
Are you just saying it? Like they're clearly just saying it.
Yeah.
I played the first Lords of the Fallen. I haven't gotten around to the new one, unless there's some side quest where you're helping some transsexual woman get across a field of KKK members or something.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
doubt that was the
I
thing.
mean, the
Like,
things that CI publish are basically Lords of the Fallen and the Sniper Ghost Warrior series, and that's pretty much it, really, in terms of their major titles. So I don't know. They're going to be
oh
like,
God, are we not gonna be able to shoot Nazis anymore?
that's what I was going to
Oh,
say.
no.
Is this going to be like a like they're just like, oh, I don't know. It does seem very strange.
You shoot Nazi adjacent guys now.
Exactly. They can't include the Costa here anymore because it's too controversial. That there's good people on both sides. No, so for those who don't know, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So basically, the idea of like putting these kind of social justicey, and I'm putting major air quotes around that because I think that's, whatever, but the whole like social justicey woke stuff into video games, and a lot of people have complained that they feel like it's being crammed in there. There is a whole, we could do a whole podcast on like how everything is inherently political, and including or not including stuff is a political statement.
Yeah.
Like that, like,
Has no one played Metal Gear Solid? Like,
yeah, right.
guys,
Guys,
guys.
everything is inherently political because everything you exist in it. You live in a society, to quote the meme. Again, this is something they said to their investors, so I don't know if this is just because the investors are like, this is happening everywhere. There's been a lot of controversy at like Meta and stuff like that about their DEI policies being removed and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Just because they're called investors doesn't make them important. They are just normal people, and I bet they watch some brain rot garbage on TikTok and we're like, oh, the woke is gonna ruin my money investment, and they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing changed though. Like it's so weird because a lot of companies have been doing it lately, and I'm like, you guys aren't. DEI was a thing during 2020. Like it's really recent, and most companies stopped their DEI practices almost as soon as the pandemic started like lessening.
Yeah.
And they kind of, the minute everyone stopped looking, most companies stopped doing it.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
It was virtual signaling.
And we can get it. Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all virtual signaling. And again, it's their investors. They want to make sure that they're still getting their money. So it is what it is. Nothing's changing.
No.
I'm sure you can still shoot Hitler in the balls like as God intended, Yeah,
the quote here is, our games will always be developed to maximize player enjoyment and commercial success, and as such, we will not be integrating any social or political agencies into this experience going forward, having observed the high risk this can present. But also, it doesn't offer any examples or any of this kind of stuff. So I think they're basically saying, we've never done anything in this space, and we're not going to.
We promise to continue the status quo.
Yeah.
Please give us your money.
Yeah.
And we're like, heck yeah, because I love Sniper Elite. The game is so good.
Yeah.
All the games are amazing.
All right. This is a kind of an interesting one. So an industry journalist basically has claimed that Xbox titles on Xbox Game Pass can lose 80% of their premium sales, and that the service is actually positively impacting PlayStation game sales, which is kind of an interesting one. So again,
wait, it's negatively impacting PlayStation sales?
No, it's positively impacting PlayStation sales.
Oh.
Yeah,
if you're gonna buy it, why would you buy an Xbox? Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a former GI Biz journalist basically says that the Xbox games sales are hurt by Game Pass. Games can do well in the service. Games that do well in service increase PlayStation game sales, but Xbox Game Pass is still a boon for indie games for sure. So this is this is basically part of a Q&A on Install Base with Christopher Dring, I believe his name is. He said kind of anecdotally, 80%. The figure gets thrown around, but less if it's a mainstream release. So I think they're mostly talking about some of the sort of AA indie titles. But some of the examples they were also talking about were like Senua's, Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones Great Circle, and Starfield's game position show that like Game Pass really does hurt the like overall sales of those games, which again is kind of a no shit. Like if you're going to play those.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of an interesting point. Like, do you think? I guess this kind of brings us back to that ongoing debate of like, do you think Game Pass is a good thing for Xbox and then also for the overall industry?
And for Xbox, yes.
Yeah.
I think they don't care that, again, they own studios like Bethesda that made Indiana Jones, which of course those sales hurt for that based on it being on Game Pass. Like, why would you pay however much? I don't even know how much games cost anymore, because I would play it on Game Pass. But they have your subscription. That's all they care about. Like, that is it. And it's weird to say 80% sales lost, because don't they get paid for having their games on Game Pass, don't they?
Yeah, the publishers do for sure. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. But I guess the idea is that if the rough idea is like the analysts have said that if this game wasn't on Game Pass, he probably would have sold 80% more of them on Xbox.
As an analyst, they're just talking statistics. Like, it matters. You know what I mean?
Also, like, what is in terms of like the amount of indie games that sell on Game Pass, sell on Xbox without Game Pass? Like, what like 80% of what? Like the numbers
Yeah,
tend to be
and
very low.
I think we've heard enough that indie developers are benefiting. Like
Yeah.
they're getting install base, and then they're releasing DLC and making money off that, and just generally, I don't know. It seems like people are playing on Game Pass or playing on Steam, and that's increasing sales other places too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So indie games, yeah. Double A, I could see. I wonder how that works because yeah, they're getting paid to be on Game Pass. And they're getting eyes in their game because we're all playing it for free.
And they also get
But
marketing in
then,
terms of like the Game Pass catalog is actually quite an exclusive list of games that you can look at in terms of like
Mhm.
if you think of every game that gets released every week, like indie games and double A games that get released every week on the Xbox, and there's a big list. You know, TA does an article on it every week. I never read the article because I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't care if it's not on Game Pass. I'm not that
Yeah, it doesn't
interested.
matter.
Really, most of the games on there are bad, and to be fair, the ones that are good are just not going to get the cut through without being on Game Pass or having some sort of big viral moment, which again they're all wanting, but.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would think that a double A developer or even an indie developer would start with Game Pass and then maybe branch off with a sequel
Hmm.
that they would sell based on how good the first game did. But I've seen a lot of those games get the sequels also on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Coffee Talk. What's the one I played? It was like the Advance Wars Tactical Anime Furry
Oh,
Kids. Shoot. Yeah, that sequel
war.
also came on
Yeah, what it
Xbox
was.
Game
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
Like so clearly, it's so weird seeing everyone be doom and gloom because it's not like anyone's forcing the developers to do this. They're all
Wargroove.
choosing to do this, so it must be not Wargroove, not Wargroove.
Not Wargroove.
Um, no, not Wargroove. It's because there was the tank battle
Oh no, no, no. Yeah, sorry.
anime
So Wargroove also was
furries.
that, but the one you're thinking of is
Kinda, yeah.
yes. But the one you're thinking, I'm trying. Yes, I'm suddenly blanking on it because I didn't bother playing the sequel because it's basically the same as the original. But it was the
Yeah.
kids in the
But that also
tank.
came to Game Pass.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yes. So it's working. It's really strange that people, especially on weird parts of the internet like Twitter, like to attack Game Pass as if it's hurting developers. But developers are putting their games on game like it's clearly working. It must be working. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah, the
It makes
service
no sense
wouldn't
to me why
exist, right?
anyone would try to argue that. Yeah.
Fuga is the game
Everyone
you're
would
thinking
pull their
of.
Game Pass. That's it. Yeah. That's a weird name.
Fuga Melody's just there. Yeah.
But yeah, it would just all be Game Pass, Xbox and Bethesda and id Software. Like that's all the games that would be on it.
Yeah, basically
So
like an
it must
Ubisoft Plus or
do
like an EA
something.
Play, like basically like their services
Yep.
where it's like just the publishers and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's obviously something going on.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we have heard that the sort of sweetheart deals of the early days of Game Pass are no longer there. Like you don't get the big deals, but still we still have stuff coming to Game Pass. Although having said that, the latest like announcements for Game Pass have not been super great. I know Cameron was
Yeah.
thinking about
We haven't got
canceling
any big
his
hits.
already because he's like, oh, all the announcements have basically been padded by, hey, we're moving things from the ultimate tier down to the standard tier so other people can play them.
Yeah, I think they did that for marketing purposes because now they can say, look at a game's coming to Game Pass, but it's actually just moving down a tier,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I don't know. Are we in a lull? Are we in the decline?
Oh
Like,
yeah, is this the new normal? Like I
time will
don't
tell, I
know.
guess.
I'm hoping again. We do get maybe like now it's down to like maybe one or two, maybe three kind of ultimate games a month. And even like Road 96 came out recently. Like that's a returning game. It doesn't sound
Mhm.
like there's a huge amount. I don't know. I am curious to see
Yeah,
what this how, if they spin it up this year and it kind of gets busy again because we had a pretty good year last year, sort of in the middle of it. It definitely died down towards the end of the
yeah,
year,
we did.
but there's still a bunch of stuff on Game
Yeah,
Pass that I just did not get time for, unfortunately. But yeah,
yeah, because I do my preview show, and yeah, I haven't done an episode in a while because it's been mostly games either coming back or games that are so big that I don't feel it's necessary.
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, no, we're definitely. Hopefully, we're just in a lull. If not, I don't know. I don't really. I'm not really part of the console wars. I didn't really ever got that uniform. So if Game Pass dies, okay, cool. As long as we can still earn achievements, I guess, and have Xbox, whatever helps them work.
Yeah, I'm
But
I'm debating if this is going to be a Matt doesn't buy games year for me because last year definitely wasn't. but the previous years kind of have been in the past as we've been doing this show. So we'll I'm going to curious as kind of like Game Pass has kind of been a good thing for me to kind of keep my toe in and actually play new stuff as it comes out. And even older stuff as well. Like I do like it when they kind of bring indie games that have been sitting on the service for a little while to Game Pass to kind of give them some exposure and give me a reason to play them and just like hear about them.
Yeah, we need a few big ones, and maybe those discussions are going on behind the scenes. Like maybe we'll see a Dave the Diver or Balatro. No, is Balatro free to play?
No, I don't think so. You got to pay for it, I think.
No. Okay, so maybe Balatro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some big
see,
indies from last year that would make a big splash.
I'm sure for right now they want like, hey, go play Indiana Jones.
You should because it's fucking great.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy. Like, I was so worried that game was gonna come out, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, this is a choice."
Yeah, me too. I was like doom and gloom the whole time. I was like, I don't even know if this game's coming out. Like, I don't think it's making this December release date. But
I know we've had discussions on the show, and then I was so excited to not only see it come out, and then people kind of like it, but then it started really like. It seemed like the first reviews were kind of like 7s ish.
Yeah,
and then as people played it, it started 8s and 9s, and people were like, "Oh, this is like a great game. I'm having so much fun, and I'm really digging into it." And now they've announced, I think they announced DLC, didn't they?
Yeah, well,
or at least leaked.
They haven't announced what it is, but they said they're going to do more, whether that's DLC or another sequel or something. There's going to be more indie in the future for sure.
Cool, good for it, and I'm glad.
And it did end up pretty high on our Game of the Year list, and on my personal list too. Great fucking game.
Machine Games needed a win.
They really did.
I heard Youngblood was rough.
Yeah, Youngblood was pretty rough. Wolfenstein 2 was good outside of Mein Leben, but I don't know. I still think the original is better. But and then sort of our last news story here is that there's talk about this Oblivion remake. So apparently there's going to be like this is a full-on remake, like overhauling combat, stealth, like all of it. Because I don't know. But again, a lot of people prefer Oblivion's kind of more Morrowind-esque approach to the game as opposed to the kind of more casual Skyrim experience that kind of has become the new.
Yeah, Skyrim casualized it quite a bit.
Yeah, which again I played Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim, and I love all of them. But I definitely there's something about Oblivion I think that is kind of special, especially given it was a launch title for the 360. But yeah, apparently it's going to have like new gameplay systems, like full remake, like not just like an upscale or anything like that. They've been working on this for quite a while. But again, we haven't really figured out like when this is happening. But the rumor mill has spun up again. Again, we heard a little bit about this when the court documents leaked in the Epic case.
Yeah, along with the Fallout 3 remake, which please,
please, yeah,
please,
exactly. Which I think makes perfect sense. So great. I mean, I'm keen to see how it works. Apparently, it's going to have like a more Souls-like style, maybe not like in terms of its. Like, maybe not in terms of like difficulty, but maybe in terms of like the way it plays, which I think is kind of an interesting idea. I don't know.
A little more actiony.
Yeah, a bit more actiony, and kind of like a tighter kind of experience as opposed to the melee first person combat has always been a bit of a weird thing for that series, in that it's kind of not very technical. It's very just
it's very just. It doesn't even feel good. You just kind of swing.
Yeah,
and Skyrim added a little oomph to it, but it made it easier too.
Yeah.
Or not easier, simpler, I guess is a better word for it.
Sure.
So.
So I'm definitely keen to see what this looks like. I'm hoping we get an announcement soon. Might not be the developer direct because it's not a Japanese game, but who knows? They also the last direct they did with the Visions of Mana stuff. They also had they showed 4 panels and then snuck a 5th one on. So
they did do that. So
yeah,
I guess we'll see.
And
we got the Nintendo Switch 2 recently, so who knows what's going to happen now.
We can probably touch on that as well. I don't know if you watched the teaser trailer they showed off, and it's like, yep, it's a bigger Switch. It's
a thing.
Yep, it's bigger. They've changed it so now the controls are black with little things of color on them. We'll see if they have more joystick drift. They showed Mario Kart on it, but it was probably the old one, so I don't know. And apparently it's mostly backwards compatible.
I saw some sickos get really dig into it. The animation was slightly different in that Mario Kart, so it's probably Mario Kart 9 or whatever the next one's going to be.
Okay, I can make it could make sense.
But
wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it was a big seller. I guess
it's. I have a Switch. Well, my kid does, and it's just my Minecraft Switch version machine. So
yeah, I got the
no preference.
Got the Switch over there hooked up to the TV, but it hasn't been used in forever. But that's because again the Switch hasn't had like a lot of big releases for quite a while outside of like Breath of the Wild. Oh, sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm sure that again they said most of it's backwards compatible. It looks like with a bit of an asterisk.
Yep.
So
Full backwards compatible accordingly. Apparently, I'm
Yeah.
sure like there's like peripherals or something weird that
the
it won't
classic like
use,
Guitar Hero
like,
style thing where it's
connected.
like that shit doesn't work anymore
Yeah.
or whatever. But I mean that makes sense. I'm no OLED screen though, which I think is kind of a bit of a letdown.
I don't know if we've got that confirmed yet.
Apparently that was that's what the talk is based on the leaks. So
Yeah, but it would be a real shame if they didn't, considering.
I mean,
But
why
maybe
not put out an
they're-
OLED model of it? Like do two SKUs.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, for sure, exactly.
At
But
some
how
point.
long are
don't-
they
if
going
it's
to
not
wait?
First
Yeah,
off, but
yeah.
Nintendo, man, Nintendo decisions, they do their own thing.
Are you thinking
They,
like is this a day one for you, or is this what do you know? I mean, again, they also said they're going to talk more about it in April, so there's still some time before we know.
Yeah,
what the
it
fuck's
depends
going
on the games. My daughter only plays it. I haven't touched that Switch. I touched it earlier to try to get an achievement in Minecraft. That's it. So
Fair.
if there's nothing that interests her, then I'll probably wait and get it, pop it on her for a gift or something.
Yeah,
But
that sounds good.
nah.
All right. I would go through the Game Pass updates, but it's the 18th over here, and we still haven't got them yet. So we don't know.
No.
I was looking, and I
Let
was
me
like,
know what I can do.
yeah, I was like, what am I supposed
So
to?
what am I playing the next
What am I going
weeks?
to play? Exactly. I was like, what's coming to Game Pass and what's leaving? We don't know because
What can I stress about?
Microsoft are now doing the thing where they do the announcements and the removals at the same time on a fortnightly basis, so every 2 weeks, which is a real pain because it was nice knowing kind of what was coming out for the month. But now we just
I
kind
like
of
what they did in December, where they're like, "Hey, here's what's leaving at the end of the month too."
Yeah,
that was great.
that would be great. They should do that every month. That should
Yeah.
be
For achievement hunters, that'd be great for the people that are trying to get the 80-hour completions done before the end of the month.
yeah.
So, hey, Xbox, please, come on. So that's about.
If I had to guess, I'm going to say probably Persona 3 Reload is probably going to be in the in this batch, if not the next one.
Man, am I going to play a Persona game finally?
Well, I mean, Persona 3 is good. The Reload is definitely the best version of that game, and the DLC was
I would hope so.
yeah. So I would recommend it, but it's also my least favorite of the Persona series. But yeah, is what it is. But yeah, I guess so. We'll probably report back next week. I'm sure they'll probably I don't know. It's like the 8th. It seems late. They usually are pretty good about getting it out before the weekend, but who knows?
They have been. So I've been checking all day. I'm like, it's got to be today, right? And
It's got to be today, right?
Here we are
I
heading
didn't
into
think
the
it'd do it over
weekend, so-
if we have to wait till Monday, that's quite a bit of a yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so I guess let's get into sort of the Game of the Year stuff. So I'll go through our Game of the Year list that we ended up with for those who haven't listened to the episode, and for you, Shane. So some honorable mentions that we got in here. We had Space Marine 2, Age of Mythology Retold, Duck Detective, Balatro, Sonic Generations, the new Shadow DLC was quite good, Hellblade 2, Dragon's Dogma 2, Pal World, and Still Wakes the Deep. As just games that we think like would probably be on a list in a bit of a quieter year, or we didn't have enough time with, or there are kind of problems with it that we think kind of exclude it from really belonging on the list. But in terms of our top 10, we ended up with The Rewinder at number 10, Kinetsugami 9, Flintlock at 8, Redacted at 7, Case of the Golden Idol / Rise of the Golden Idol. I just put them together because they're basically the same game. At 6, Marvel Rivals at 5, which Cameron was a big proponent of. He fucking started loving that game. Indiana Jones at 4, Star Wars Outlaws at 3, which again is one of those ones that I haven't played, so that was very much a Keo and Cameron decision.
Okay.
They love that game and argued for it.
We are the only podcast probably in the world where that's top 3.
Yeah, but apparently that's really, really good, and like the changes have been good.
It's on my list.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like of this list, I'm like I need to play some of these. Redacted and Outlaws for sure. Probably skip Marvel Rivals, but Black Ops 6 is number 2, and Metaphor Refantasio is number 1 because fuck you guys. I host this podcast, and that's gone at number 1 because it's a nearly flawless game in my opinion.
To be fair, that's like second or third run up for most people's Game of the Year. So I'm totally okay with Mestasio, political, whatever.
Yes, that's
being number 1. So.
But I wanted to get your thoughts on what you've been playing this year. So I figured we'll go through the list. So
Yeah.
Do you want to read through the list? You want me to read through the list? What do you want to do?
I'll do it,
Yeah,
sure.
go for it.
Let me preface this by saying in October I played a horror game a day.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these are from that, and
Sure.
they're like not great. So a little to the left, A Night on the Farm, Backrooms Party Goers, Buried Alive, Breathless Rescue, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, Garten of Banban 2, The Glass Staircase, Legend of Mana, Pal World, Phasmophobia, Reveal, Rewind or Die, Scholar's Mate, Senua Saga, Hellblade 2, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Terminal 81, Visions of Mana, Willy's Wonderland the Game, and X Defiant. Most of those are garbage, so I think of those. The only ones I would even kind of consider are A Little to the Left,
Sure. Yeah.
Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Legend of Mana, but that's cheating. That's a re-release.
Eh,
That game's from like the 90s.
is it a re-release? Oh
Uh
yeah, it is a re-release. You're right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's literally
that's
just the
true. That is
re-release.
true. Yeah.
Pal World, Phasmophobia. I'm trying to think if any of those horror games I played are worth nominating, but not really. I mean, they're okay, but
But not game of the year material.
uh Hellblade 2. I love Visions of Mana, but that's not that good. It was fun, but X Defiant was okay. And Suicide Squad was really good. So yeah, 5. A Little to the Left, Dead Rising, Pal World, Phasmophobia, Hellblade 2.
That's fair. Okay, I guess like which if you were going to rank them, what do you think it would be? Like, what do you think is probably your best one on that list?
Let's see. Dead Rising is number 1.
I mean, that
Game was
game is
great.
fantastic.
It was really fun. It was very fun. They took what was great about the original release back on the 360, what, 2007?
Mm-hmm.
That game is
Yeah,
old.
it was very old.
And they didn't change anything. Like the animations are the same, the gameplay is essentially the same. They just made it better.
Mm.
They made it so the B button doesn't do everything. So you're constantly messing up and pushing the wrong button. They made the AI just a touch smarter. They made the graphics look great. It's a beautiful game. Like they got rid of saving, there's checkpoints, like oh,
Mm.
fantastic.
A lot of quality
It's
of life stuff.
the Oh, yeah. I wish they did it with all re-releases or remasters, where they just didn't really change anything, but just add all the quality of life throughout the series that's since. It was good. Very good. I think that's number 1 just because it's my favorite series, but also I thought it was a really good game. Out of the games I played,
Sure,
I know there's better. Hellblade 2 is definitely second just because that game is gorgeous.
it is
That is a
gorgeous. Yeah.
cool game. It's very short, it's very easy, it's very bland's not the right word. What am I looking for? Simple?
Yeah,
Maybe simple.
I wanted to put that on my list, right? But I think the real issue with it was that like for such a short game, it still had too much repetition. You know, like
Yeah.
I was like that's like I mentioned it in last week, but like the sigil matching thing where you got to do the space thing. The fact they have that like 3 more times in the game when it was in the original game again, I was like, this is like a 4 hour game. Like you could have come up with some new mechanics. Just like I don't know.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
anyone that has not played this game, if you played the first one and are like, hey, I like that, boy, I got something to sell you, man, because
yeah,
it is just the same, just prettier.
yeah.
Um,
Combat's a bit better, but yeah,
yeah, yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. But out of the games I played, yeah, that's gotta be number 2. See, Suicide Squad, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna do the whole what we've been playing section like we
well
usually
we
do.
will yeah we can do
But
that after this. Yeah.
the Suicide Squad was fun. Like I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Cameron and
Um,
Keo was trying to argue to get it on the list as well. I think it ended up just kind of dropping off with some of the other slightly more, some of the other titles
yeah,
like Rewinder and stuff that I kind of have a bit more. All of us have played and had a bit more appeal. But yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people have been
Like
playing Suicide Squad on our Discord and been enjoying it quite a bit.
yeah, anyone who hasn't caught up is or kept up. My goal this year is like every month I'm gonna play one of the games I feel didn't hit with the community and or didn't sell well and or got critically not panned but not great
Hmm.
and I think is okay. Like yeah, Suicide Squad was number one. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do Slitterhead. I'm gonna do Star Wars Outlaws. And yeah, Suicide Squad. It's really fun. I'm blown away by how much fun I'm having with the game. And I just got to the first. That's not really a spoiler. It says it in the name. You're killing the Justice League.
Yeah.
I got to the first boss fight, and yeah, I'm like, dang man, that's kind of dark. So I'm enjoying it. I'm sure it'll get grindy for achievement hunters after all.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of drag at the end, but I'm trying to blow through the story while I enjoy it, and I'm having a good time.
I picked it up when it
World
was
is-
like $5 or whatever, so I probably will play it at
Could
some
you not?
stage. Yeah, exactly.
That's the same. I did the same. Like I was like, well, this will be my first one because for $5, I'd be insane not to.
Yeah.
And then I'll get Ubisoft Plus because quite a few of Ubisoft's titles are on that list.
Yep. Yep.
So, Pal World was great. I don't know if you living under a rock and haven't played Pal World. Like I don't know what's wrong with you or don't know anything about it. Like it's Ark. It's a survival crafty game like all those other ones that there's so many nowadays.
Yeah.
And then Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
great.
Hard-
It's
hard to argue, yeah.
come a long way since it came. Yeah, it's come a long way since it released, so it's not like broken anymore. No, not horribly broken. It's still not. I don't
mean,
think it's
yeah.
at 1.0 yet.
Not quite, I don't
I'm
think.
pretty sure it's still game preview.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna run into iffy nonsense. And in the same vein, Phasmophobia. I don't know if you've played that at all.
No, I've seen a million Twitch streamers play through it and kind of got the vibe, and it does seem a lot of fun, but very much a group kind of setting game, right?
Very cool puzzle game. Yeah, you absolutely. I can't imagine playing this with randoms. What a pain that would be.
Yeah.
But I have two friends that play pretty consistently with me, and it's an escape room, except you could die.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you have to figure out, temperature and UV and everything else. And oh, your sanity got too low, and the ghost is now hunting and hide in a closet until it goes away, hopefully. So that's gonna be up there. A Little to the Left is such a fun little game. I really need to finish that one.
I liked it a lot. The DLC is kind of not great, but I think the base game is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just the brain just right.
Yeah, it's just like, man, those draw puzzles, we got to fit everything in the space. It's just like, I love that shit
As
so
someone
much.
that does that at work, where I start arranging my pens
yeah.
so they line up perfectly with the phone, and then put the cord kind of around it in a certain way. And yeah, so I vibe with that game pretty hard right away.
For sure.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, that's pretty good for a
I
top
like the games,
five.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just do a quick shout out for our patrons, patreon.com/hologamers. Huge thank you to these people. We literally could not afford to do the show without you guys. So Lee Howard, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old Mate Clown, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. If you want to help support the show, any amount helps. Any kind of exclusive content, again, I know we haven't done a lot recently because we've all kind of been busy and trying, holidays and all that kind of stuff. But we are looking at maybe doing another Lights, Camera, and Action for the new Sonic film and that kind of stuff. So any kind of extra content that we do or behind the scenes stuff, we will put it up there on the Patreon for you guys to enjoy. And we don't gate any of the content. So whether that's like $2 or like $10 or whatever you spend, you get access to everything just because we don't really feel like we want to lock that content away behind, higher paywalls. But it helps pay for things like for like licensing fees, like Buzzsprout and that kind of stuff, and also for our word challenge, which I am bringing back. I got a new one for you guys. I know I said I was done with it, but people, there was a lot of demand, so we're going to get back into it. We also have our monthly/bi-monthly bimestral burden. Every 2 months we do a theme. So for January and February, it's Back in My Day, which is now it's time to finish up your remasters and remakes and retro games that now have achievements. So go back to those old games that have been brought forward, give you a good excuse to play through them. So like Legacy of Kain, for example, or what are some other good ones? I think it was like Shadow Man Remastered and the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster and that kind of stuff. So the only rule is the original game that it's based on cannot have achievements. So you can't do Dead Rising, the remaster, because that technically doesn't count because the original was on the 360. But I'm trying to think of some other good examples, but you get the idea.
You do Legend of Mana.
You could do Legend of Mana, and I actually did have started it and was like, wow, this is way more complex than I thought it was going to be.
It's a weird
I
game.
was, yeah, I just finished Trials of Mana, and I was like, I'm going to jump straight into Legends of Mana. Holy shit, was I not?
Yep.
I was not ready.
It is very different.
Yeah,
Very
I
different.
definitely need to get your thoughts on that. But let's get into what we've been playing. Shane, it's been a little while since you've been on the show, so I imagine you've got a bit of a laundry list. What have you been working on?
Yeah, but I'm going up. Let's see. I did jump on those who rem Oh, actually, I did quite a few of the games that were leaving Game Pass. I did Figment,
Oh yeah,
which
I like
was
Figment.
it's okay.
Yeah, it was fine. Like
Um,
relatively
yeah,
painless.
it was very fine. That's a good word for it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I left feeling pretty meh about it. It was very easy. There's almost no challenge, especially if you're following a guide, because I would say that there is fighting and combat, but it's very much more a puzzle game.
yeah.
So if you're following a guide, it's
It's a very
you just
light
follow a guide
isometric
and
dungeon crawler
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, very very light.
and it lost points because the achievement for killing all the enemies in the second level glitched on me, so I had to play through again and use a workaround to get that to pop.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
annoying. I also did Escape Academy, which I'd done before, but they added a title update,
Yeah, that was
which
kind
I'd
of
be
a
good to
weird
get
title
into.
update they added, right? Like a
hmm
co-op mode. Again,
Even
well, a competitive.
Nope, competitive
Yeah, oh
mode.
yeah,
Yeah,
competitive mode. Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
yeah. My friend Tommy today she's the one who did it with me originally, so she jumped in and let me. We played. There's three different modes, and one of them would be just as efficient if we played for real. So we got to play a little competitive
For
and
sure.
race a bit. So, but for the most part, we just sat around and helped each other get those achievements. So, and then I also did those who remain, which of a lot like Figment.
Oof.
It's pretty easy and quick, but
Did you do the stack as well, or you
nah,
just do
I'm
just
not
the
feeling
one?
that. Absolutely not. Nope.
Yeah, I did both
I
of
got to
them.
that first one. I'm like, this is
It's
no.
garbage. It's like asset flip garbage. I cannot believe it ended up on Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure did. And it's easy at least. I mean,
There is that. Yeah,
you know,
it is very
yeah.
straightforward.
By the second run, I memorized most of it. And then, of course, the third run, had it easy. Speaking of, man, can we please next Xbox have access to our saves again? Like where we can
Yes, please.
copy
I just
and
need to be able to
move
back up my
and
saves. There are so many guides that are like, okay, now it's time you back up your save. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just doing a whole
yep,
other playthrough. Great.
yep. It's like I don't want to save scum, like disconnect and reconnect to the cloud and play all that game. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I just I just want to play. If I can copy my save for achievements, cool. That'd be so much better.
Yep. I had a
Um,
game like that as well that I had the exact same thing that I'll talk about shortly.
yeah, so that would have made that a lot easier. I guess you can do it on the Windows Stack, but I don't want to play that game anymore. I'm good.
Yeah. I think
More
you're
recently,
fine.
I finished Power World finally.
So you
So that
finished
was
it, like
nice.
all the achievements, because they do a DLC
Yeah.
pack for that, like an arena thing.
Yes, they added. Yeah, they added that, but there was no achievements for that.
Oh, okay.
But they added like the Sakajima or what Sakurajima,
Like a new
and then
island.
they added the raid fights, and then they just added the more recent one. And so I was still playing when those achievements got added. So blow through it all.
It,
That final island bites.
does it? Okay, because I haven't actually started the game. Again, I've like so many people have talked about it, and I just never got around to playing it. But it is one of those games because it was all like game
It's very
preview.
fun.
So I was like,
Yeah, you can add you can adjust sliders to make it easier.
mm-hmm.
So like you do more damage to the pals, they do less damage to you,
Right.
blah blah blah. So
Make it easy.
you can make it easier on yourself. I didn't do it much because I was playing with my daughter, so I kind of wanted to play for real. But the final island, like you can ride your pals,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the most beneficial ones are flying pals for obvious reasons. The new island, of course, is kind of end game-ish, so they know you have those. So there are AA turrets around,
Oh my
scattered
god.
across the island that will just full on just annihilate you if you try.
Gotcha.
So you get to go back to the old fun days of just walking across an island that is not small.
Got it.
They added a fairly good amount of new content. So it was a pain. it was more of a chore than anything because I was so done. I was like, I'm over this. And with the whole Nintendo lawsuit, I just wanted her to get it off my tag. I'm so worried they're gonna be like, oh, we gotta pull it, and I will be boned.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of,
um,
that's kind of what I've been waiting on. I've been like, should I start it? It's like, is it smarter to start it and finish it, or is it smarter to just wait and see what happens? I don't know.
if you hit it hard, you probably could finish it in like less than a month.
Okay. Well,
If you were like
yeah.
really hitting it, and because again, I only played with most of my daughter, and at first until what is it, January, like November, it was constantly crashing when we tried to play online together.
Oh, okay.
So I
Right.
just wasn't playing it. So I only really started hitting it hard in November, and then they had new achievements in December. So
Okay. Maybe
yeah,
I'll put it on my
it
list.
didn't really take me long.
It might end up on my catch up on 2024 games list.
That's quite a few of those.
Yeah, I've got the list.
I bet.
The list is a little too big.
It's on Game Pass, but I owned it before it was on Game Pass. I did Katamari. We love Katamari.
Oh, the second
Game's
one.
great.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's played the first one, it can actually be kind of tough,
Yeah.
and you have to collect all the items in the game. Which, if you play Katamari, that's a chore.
Yeah. Especially when you're missing like
We Love
one, you're like,
Katamari
and
is
the
nice
guides
enough.
aren't very good. And you're like, where the
Oh
fuck
my
is this?
god, a shogi title.
Yeah.
A shogi tile.
Yep.
And like you have to find like where is that hidden in one of the first level? It's a huge pain.
Yeah.
And then I did, but the second game is literally just finish it. There
It's really
are
straightforward for the
almost
most. I think there's
no.
a few collectibles or whatever, but it's relatively straightforward, right?
It's you have to collect the cousins,
Yeah. The cousins, right?
and
Yeah.
then there's an achievement for getting 2,000 items total. Which, if you're playing, you'd be hard pressed not to get that.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. It was very chill. If I go back and do the PC version of the first reroll, I'll actually have the series completion, including the Windows Phone title.
Oh,
So that's
yeah. Okay.
tempting.
Because I did Beautiful Katamari
Yeah,
back
I
then,
mean-
but I completely forgot about the Windows Phone game.
Yep. Which was not good, but I got it before it's all gone, so I could do it.
Oh,
Um, I also did the Exit 8. don't know
oh
if you
yes,
know
that
of
big
that
viral
game.
sensation game that I've been seeing a lot of streamers play. Yeah.
Which, man, we got a lot of those lately on Xbox, which thank God. We're getting Amanda's Adventure and Poppy's Playtime and Home Safety Hotline and on and on and on. Thank goodness. But if you don't know what this game is, you walk through a subway tunnel. And then move into the next title. No,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. You just do it a few times.
I mean, kind of. But you'll see like the vents oozing ooze, and you have to turn around and go back. And then you have to. The point is, it's one of the anomaly games. If you've seen any of those, anyone listening, it's a lot of finding weird stuff. So you're walking through a subway tunnel. If you see anything weird, you turn around and you progress to the next level. If you don't see anything weird, you move forward and progress to the next level. If you make a mistake on either one of those, you're reverted back to the beginning. So it's a very easy completion. If you have to be pretty dense not to like notice everything at some point.
Sure.
The game's nice enough where you have to identify all 30 anomalies, but once you identify an anomaly, it's taken out of rotation.
Oh, okay. That's
So
interesting. I didn't know that.
the game technically, for completion wise, the game gets easier as you go. But then once you identify all the anomalies, they're all open for interpretation. But by then you should know them all anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah, right.
So I don't know how you take that. I took it as it got easier. By the end, I was there's a speedrun achievement and there's a perfect run achievement.
Mhm.
And obviously by the end, you know all the anomalies.
it's
So
wonderful.
you can just sprint through, look, is there a shadow face in the ceiling? Is that vent leaking? Is that door gone? No, cool. Run through and yeah. So
Is the guy walking towards you
know.
smiling weirdly?
yes. Is he smiling weirdly? Does he have a face?
Yeah.
Is he a little more caked up than usual?
Yeah.
You don't know. So, I don't know why it itched the brain right at those anomaly games. Like,
Yeah.
Part of my job in real life is editing documents. So my brain's good at like catching little things wrong here and there. So I don't know why this game was so much fun. I quite enjoyed it. Huh. I'm getting over a cold. Sorry, everybody. I mostly been muting it to keep the coughs away, but my throat's starting to get pretty irritated now. It's the most I've talked in like a week. I did Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I
That is
saw that.
a cover based Harry Potter shooter.
I
That's the only reason I did it.
I really enjoyed the second one because it didn't have all the Connect stuff in it.
Yeah, the Connect stuff was worrisome, but me and my daughter knocked that out pretty easily. It was pretty I think the videos I made of it are like an hour total, so it's not like it's
Okay,
long,
yeah.
it's a chore. So definitely I hate Expelliarmus. That was annoying. Screw that. Harry Potter, what are you thinking? Why are you using that all the time? It's a terrible spell. Like I said, I've been playing Suicide Squad. I made it through the first boss. Like most open world titles, there's a lot to do between each of those fights. So I'm sure I've got a little bit more. It's like a 50-hour completion, I think, total.
Okay, that's not too bad.
But as I stated earlier, enjoying it a lot. It's more Arkham. It's the same universe. I had to skip the beginning area. One of the first areas you're in, there's like a Batman experience
Hmm.
when you first meet Batman in the game, and it like runs through all the Arkham games, and I had to skip a whole section because I haven't played Night yet. I didn't want to
Yeah,
spoil it for myself,
yeah, right, yeah.
so I had to really be careful. But yeah, no, it's a cool game. I don't understand why it's got all the hate. I saw one rainbow flag, so I guess it's woke.
Wow,
Oh, and
yeah.
Harley Quinn's bi because she's
Hmm.
always been. But I don't know. I don't understand the hate for this game. I think maybe most of it's disappointment.
Yeah, I
Maybe
guess so. Like, I guess
they
the like the whole live service thing for a game for
they want an Arkham game.
yeah.
But see the live service part, like I'm getting loot when I kill enemies, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's a live service title, if that makes sense. I'm having a great
I'm
time.
really
I mean,
curious, like
it's
the
being
end
three
game. I guess
bots.
the end game bit is where people were like, "Oh, this is all the game is. That's it."
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing things about incursions, which apparently are almost like raids. So
Yeah.
I'm sure end game, but I want to play for the story.
Sure.
Like I was really interested in the whole kill the Justice League part. And again, I'm sorry if this spoils anything for you. You kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
That's the game. So I killed the first member of the Justice League, and I was like, dang, like that's kind of messed up, you
Mm.
know? I mean, it's interesting, and I'm very curious to see how it goes.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna get a few
understand how
status
this
reports from
ends.
people like on how they feel about it as they go through the game.
Yeah, I don't understand how this ends. After the first boss fight, it turns it on its head a little bit, and I think I might know where they're going with this.
Mm.
And I don't want to spoil anything because it's nothing they showed in any of the marketing material, so I definitely can't spoil that.
Sure.
But it's cool. I'm legit. I it's late here. I'm sure it's early for you, but here it's late, so I won't be able to play tonight. And then tomorrow I have plans, and I'm kind of bummed. Like I want to play more. So, and then other than that, I've been playing Phasmophobia, which I'm actually really close to finishing that.
Yeah, so you got
I
that really hard achievement, right? The was it the
mhm.
Armageddon one or whatever? Oh,
That
sorry.
Armageddon Gold, yes,
Mm.
that was a rough one. Um, that achievement entails you have to go in. So again, if you've never played Phasmophobia or have never watched it, you are sent into a location, knowing there's a ghost there. You have tools. The ghosts, all ghosts leave three kinds of evidence. Use the tools to find each like piece of evidence or whatever. You have to find the room it's located in. Each ghost has abilities. Like one ghost will hunt you right away. Other ghosts won't hunt fast enough. There's all kinds. It's a whole encyclopedia to read.
Mm.
Um, for Gold Apocalypse, you get none of that. You are sent into the biggest level on with a ghost that will hunt you almost immediately with no defenses, um, and you walk at the pace of a snail. And on top of all that, it leaves no evidence.
Wow.
To get the achievement, you have to survive. You
Hmm.
have to complete 3 bonus objectives, which are random, and you have to take a photo of the ghost, while also correctly identifying which of the 20 whatever, however many there are ghosts it is.
Jesus, that sounds like
It's
a
a
pain.
pain.
Yeah.
The main trick is you want a Deogen. Deogens will sprint at you. No matter where it is in the building, it will locate you. It walks very fast. So, again, this is mostly a science base. So you have microphones,
Hmm.
and you can hear the ghost. So with the Deogen, it's very fast until it sees you. It gets close to you. At that point, it will slow down almost to the point. Actually, no, not almost. You can outrun it even with the lowered speed you have in this mode.
Right.
So achievement hunter wise, Deogen's what you want because you'll hear it coming at you. It'll get to you. It'll slow down so you can kind of kite it around. You can take a picture of it, do your 3 objectives, whatever you need to do while it's hunting. I didn't do that. I got impatient. I found a ghost that it is the exact opposite, where it kind of trounces around very slowly throughout the building, but once it sees you, it'll beeline and murder you outright.
Right.
So what I did was I waited until it got close, and I had a timer going because they hunt for 50 seconds total. So I waited till 10 seconds. It got close enough. I opened the door, yelled at it because I can hear you too. Fun fact. And then backed up, took a picture of it. I have a video on my YouTube. It's literally me take a picture and like throwing my incense to kind of slow it down and stop. And then I waited till the hunt ended and then got out of there and got my achievement. Huge nightmare. I started with my friend because she wanted to play it. I did not expect to finish it. Those achievements are rough. But yeah, I'm about done. I just need to prestige one more time. I prestiged my second time last night. But while they were over here for dinner tonight, I got on and got my kill by a demon achievement, which I'd been missing. I think all I need to do is prestige a third time. I need to finish my 10 weekly objectives, which I think my 9th or 10th is this upcoming Sunday. And do tutorial, which I wanted that to be my last one.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then I'll be done.
That's funny. Great.
But that's what I've been doing.
It's a big list.
Suicide Squad's my main game right now. And yeah.
I have been working on a few things, mostly stuff that I bought in the end of year sale that I'm like, I need to play this now, otherwise it's going to end up my backlog and I'll never get to it. So I picked up, well, actually, I just picked up Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. I talked a little bit about it before the end of the year. I've been playing it as part of our theme month. So I finished that. They're not overly long games. The first game is kind of longer than the second one. The second one is a lot more linear. But, oh man, the first game is rough. I love the series. Like, it is one of my favorite, like, in terms of, like, from a narrative perspective, from, like, the characters and the world and everything is fucking fantastic. But playing Soul Reaver 1 is not fun. It's actually bad.
Oh.
It's really not fun to go back to. The platforming is bad. The combat is terrible. The controls are not very good. The signposting is non-existent. It is very much of that era of PlayStation 1 game where they just kind of put you in a world and you're like, figure it out. And like part of it is like, cool, secrets are fun and like finding stuff out, but a lot of it is like, can I climb this? Am I going the right way? Like it's, yeah. Second game is a lot more modern. It is basically like, the second game is very much like a corridor kind of game where it's like just shuffles you from dungeon to dungeon, solve puzzles. Combat's relatively straightforward. Still not great, but is, you know, it's a bit easy to use. Much heavier on the story, longer cutscenes, more exposition, great voice acting. Like, I love the second game a lot more. What they need to do basically is like combine the two games into a big reboot and just kind of redo the entire thing and just have the story go from beginning to end, because the second game is short enough that you could just bolt it onto the end of the first game.
Sounds like they should Dead Rising Deluxe remaster that first game.
They really should. Like, they just needs a whole redo, because I think it's fucking fantastic. They can keep the voices because the voice work is still impeccable. There's also a lot of content from the first game that got cut because they just didn't have time. But going, like, I was playing through the first game, I was like, oh man, maybe this wasn't as good as I remember it. But playing through the second game, I was like, no, it still fucking hits. Like, the story is still great. I was gripped the entire time, even though I knew what was coming. It's just like the way the Shakespearean nature in which how they talk in that game, and kind of like the idea that it's like a conflict that's been going on for millennia, and yeah, it's fucking so cool. And yeah, they need to bring that series back in some meaningful way. I also did Flock, which was a Game Pass game from last year I didn't get around to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's old.
Oh, it's not that... Yeah, I mean, it came out last year, but it was like, you know... there's two of them. So the Flock, there was an old Flock one where you were a UFO with...
Oh, yeah. This is the, like...
This is the bird.
Flowery...
This is the bird one, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you go around on
cool game.
On a big bird, and you just kind of do, like, try to charm individual like creatures. Has almost like a Viva Pinata style kind of like cuteness to it, and it's very chill. It's very chill. Basically, it's just like go around,
Very chill.
find these animals, charm them. Some of them have little requirements where it's like, oh, hey, this one's hiding in a hole, so you need to kind of sneak up on it, or this one detects movement, so you want to like get near it and stop, and then it comes back out, and you can charm it. And there's a couple of like little individual ones that are a little hard to find. It kind of has a little bit of a Pokemon-esque thing going on where you need to collect each of the like variants, and you have like 12 different families of animals, and so you can kind of see how they relate to each other, and it's very cute. A lot of different regions. Not a huge amount to it. It does do the cardinal sin of indie games where it's like, oh, hey, you've collected all of them? Yeah, can you collect like 30 of each of them just to get a bar to be completely full for no reason? And there's no benefit to it. We just want you to do it. So again, that only takes like a couple more hours if you kind of know where each of them are and kind of how to farm them. But it just kind of takes a lot of the enjoyment out of like just discovery. Because like I feel like once I've identified them all and I've collected them all, the game should be done. Like that should be it. There isn't really a reason to be like, why do I need 30 of these things? So, but relatively mindless. It took me like 8 hours or so. So, and I just played it like on my laptop while people were using the TV. So it was like kind of just like a relatively like chill, brainless game.
Yeah, it's a very cozy game.
For sure. Also did Beyond Blue on your recommendation, which I really, really liked. It was nice. It was a really nice kind of go around, like a lot of like documentary footage and kind of just looking at like sea creatures and scanning them and being like, oh, hey, it's a bottlenose dolphin or like a spider crab or kind of it was shorter than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting maybe to go on for a bit longer, have a couple more areas, but I was totally fine. Like it didn't overstay its welcome. Trying to find those last couple of scans was a little bit difficult because like the little circle thing they put on the map is not super visible, and you have to kind of scour it. But yeah, I had like a nice time with that. Ad Infinitum is again another one that I picked up on sale. It is a World War I horror game.
That's right. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which I don't think you played this one, or at least not on Xbox.
Nope.
Yeah.
It was on my list, but yeah.
Yeah, so I picked this up. I picked up like the Nightmare Edition. It was on sale for like 80% off or something. I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. I've seen it on sale a few times. This is the one I was talking about where it'd be really good to have a save thing. It does the classic horror game thing of like, hey, you have to make moral decisions and you get a good, bad, or terrible ending depending on these 3 decisions that you make. And you got to play through the game like 3 times or like 2.5 or whatever, depending on how you save scum it. It's fine. I mean, yeah, I get like war's bad and like it's pretty ham-fisted. And,
Whoa.
no, World War I was pretty terrible, guys. Don't know if you guys know that. But it's about kind of like, it has kind of an interesting narrative with a couple of twists on it. And like, again, it's very allegorical and it's very like dream sequency and kind of trying to figure out like what's real and what isn't and that kind of stuff. But I don't know, like it is very much your standard kind of 3 playthrough horror game where you kind of go through environments and you kind of do different puzzles and stuff. It's not really much to it.
Yeah. Like those remain.
Yeah, and then the last one I've been kind of playing. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat 1 because I was just looking for something fun to play. I think I kind of mentioned it last week. Pretty mindless. Like it's fine. Like achievement wise, it's not too bad. I've been struggling with one of the online achievements for doing ranked matches because I cannot match up with anyone because my ping is really bad. I got one match and I got one match like booked in and it was like 200 ping and then someone immediately left. They're like, no, I'm not dealing with 200 ping. Fuck that. So I might have to double box it or something, but it is not nearly as good as like 11 or 10 were, but it's fine. It was kind of just like I wanted something new to play. That was also one I picked up on sale. And then the last one I picked up on sale was Terminator Resistance, the Complete Edition.
Okay.
So I like Terminator. I played through Terminator Resistance when it first came out. Really enjoyed it. It is the same people who did the RoboCop game. So it's very much in that vein of like like a double A kind of like controls well, plays well, no major issues with it, but quite simple. Where the game is essentially like we'll put you in an environment, you kind of scavenge. There's like a very basic crafting system. There's like a leveling system where you can get like upgrade your guns and that kind of stuff. But it's like very like base level. It's pretty good. The Complete Edition.
I heard about RoboCop too.
Yeah, RoboCop. Like I really enjoyed RoboCop. Like it was great. I think RoboCop is a better game than this. This is clearly like the one they did beforehand. But the complete edition adds like two new DLC modes. So there's like a whole little DLC campaign that has like 6 extra missions, where you play. It's kind of like an interquel, kind of like they cram it in there, where you meet Kyle Reese and you do some like kind of like interesting kind of like stuff there, like lore wise. And then there's like an infiltrator mode where it's like kind of roguelike-y, where you play as an infiltrator and you kind of have to scavenge and like it's randomly generated. So that all stuff is new. That's in the complete edition. So that's where I'm up to now. I just finished the story last night again. You can play it on easy. It's not like overly difficult or anything. Like I think it's got like a 1.4 ratio. So it's really straightforward.
No, it did.
And if you like Terminator, like the complete edition is probably the one to pick up. I'm having a good time with it. You know, you get to see the classic like T600s, T800s, A50s. Like they kind of go through all of it, and it has an interesting kind of like fits in interestingly with the Terminator Salvation and also T1 and T2 kind of timeline stuff.
Did you play that game, Terminator Salvation?
Yeah, I did. It was fine.
360.
Yeah, 360 back in the day. It was
very fine.
Yeah, it was very much a 6 out of 10 kind of game. And I do have. I'm kind of trying to pick what my next kind of games are going to be. I did start Unicorn Overlord. Which is, again, like a lot of people's like Game of the Year kind of list sort of stuff. But I have only played a couple hours into it. It's not super gelling with me yet, but I'll talk more about it once I've put more time into it. So I've got a big list of stuff that I'm like, oh, fuck, I need to get through all this. I've got like Stranger of Paradise sitting there that I'm like, I need to do that as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that was also grabbed that on sale. And I'm trying to get that last achievement for Modern Warfare 3, the 50,000 zombies. So I'm kind of just doing like a grind of that every now and then because it's just... They so could have easily
made an unopened copy of Modern Warfare 3. I have one over there. I'm like, I'm never gonna open that.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, just don't get into the Call of Duty train. It's nuts. But
it's also on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. That's why I'm playing it. I did not buy it. But yeah, that's kind of everything. I've been trying to play a lot more. I also like kind of did Indiana Jones and stuff over the holidays and that kind of stuff. It was a great game. Really looking forward to Avowed. I think is kind of the next big release that I'm kind of answering for.
I think South of Midnight looks also really
South of Midnight
cool.
does look really good, actually.
Like,
yeah, it does look really interesting. And apparently,
Avowed,
it's not like super long,
I've heard
so.
Everyone that's previewed it, I've heard is like, this is way better than it's showing in trailers.
Great.
So,
I mean, I was a little concerned considering Compulsion's last game was We Happy Few, which is not good. So,
I'm talking about Avowed.
Yeah. Oh, Avowed. Sorry. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a different game.
Yeah. Avowed looks really good. I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love.
And it's Obsidian.
Obsidian can do no wrong in my heart. You know. All right. And I guess that's going to bring us onto our leaderboards. So, in third place this week we have Basham with 8,820. In second place we have Thrash Forever with 23,850. Jesus. And in first place we have a Grey Shark with 28,300. If you'd like to join the leaderboards, it's just on TA. Let us know. We can send you an invite. Really easy to do. And we can, if you're a big Gamerscore person, we can get you up on the list. Then we also have completions. Do you have the Trello open, Shane? Oh, you're good? Yeah, you're all good. I'll just read through them. So Cameron did Little Kitty Big City, Mad Streets, The Rewinder, and Escape Academy, and First Descendant, rather. The man's completing games like crazy, which is an achievement in and of itself. Ickle Ronikins did EA Sports, WRC, and Escape Academy as well. Vex did Borderlands and the Game of the Year edition of it. Bulbasaur did Goat Simulator. Just Jake finished up Battlefield 5. Stubby did Escape Academy as well. Keo finished up Clock Tower Rewind, which he's been talking about a little bit as part of the theme month. Rapture finished up Figment 1 and 2. Natolinator finished up 2 Point Campus, which he had a really, really good time with. And Baron von Neumann...
Yeah, he's been talking that up like crazy.
Yeah, and Baron von Neumann finished up Hunt Showdown. So good job, guys.
Oh, Post Malone. Or is that the new one?
Yeah, that's right. He's in that weird circus thing. That was so strange. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But that's pretty much...
He's a huge nerd. I have his Magic cards over there. Like...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he's a huge fucking nerd. Yeah. That is weird to think about. But one of my friends is a huge fan of Post Malone, so... but that's pretty much going to bring us into the show. A little bit of a shorter week this week. But you know what? Like we're getting back into the habit. Oh, I forgot about the word challenge. I nearly didn't say it. Okay. Yes, I will do the word challenge.
Oh, y'all almost lucked out.
I nearly lucked out, but no, I am bringing the word challenge back. I have come up with a new game. The first clue is this game has multiple playable characters. So if you don't know what the word challenge is, we have a channel on our Discord. You go and you can guess once per hour. If you get the game right, a GIF pops up. The GIF usually doesn't fucking work because the bots are broken and shit, but an image pops up or a GIF, and if you get it, I'll give you $10 New Zealand. Not a lot of money, I know, with the exchange rate, but or you can just win it for fun, and I'll just put the money back into paying for fucking Buzzsprout or some other shit. So yes,
Yeah, we love that.
Oh my god, I get the bill every fucking month. It's ridiculous how much they charge. But yeah, that's the word challenge. I'm glad I got that right before I left because it was no longer my Trello card because I wasn't planning on doing it anymore. But I know people loved the challenge, so I'm bringing it back. But that's going to bring us to the end of episode 150.
Trello up, you threw me off.
Yeah, 152.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm going to need to re-add it. I'm going to do that right after this.
well, no, you're like, oh, I'm calling you on Discord. I'm like, since when are we doing Discord? What are you talking about?
Look,
we do Zoom.
Yeah, well, Zoom is also very fucking expensive, and our renewal comes up in February. So,
I agree.
But that is going to bring us to the end of episode. Was it 152, 153? 153. We'll say 153. Thank you, Shane, for joining us.
Of course.
It was great to hear from you, and we will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace.